Joyce from Sunnyside. Always a treat when the Sage of Sunnyside calls in. How are you, dear?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Michael, you had a caller early in the week ask you a question. Were the callers plants that call in with that crazy, rambling, idiotic foolishness? I hope he is listening today because here's a second opinion. I can assure him that they are not plants, nor are they facetious. They are real. I live with this on a regular basis, listening to that foolishness. They are serious. And that is unfortunate. And some of them, I hear say they're 40 years old. I said, my God. I hear this with, people my age and all, and, it's not too much you can do with old food, but these are young people with this foolishness, living in the past, blaming the old white rich Republicans. And, if they want to write me off because I think for myself, I tell them sharpen your pencil because I refuse to live under the circumstances of the past. I choose to live above it. And one thing I hear with them, and I like to tell them, we can't cite discriminatory policies of the past to justify discriminatory policies today. And that's what I'm hearing. And in this enlightened period in my life, and when I hear, like little Eric Holden now, when I hear my people with this stupidity, it saddens me. Now, I don't lose any sleep over you, but it saddens me that in this enlightened time, you have more opportunities than I ever had. 40 years old? But I was in my 40s when I left the white liberal Democrat plantation. And let me tell you, I have not missed one moment of leaving that plantation. And that's what you need to do. It's okay to leave the plantation. It's okay to think for yourself and stop relying on the Democrat Party to lead you to the polls like sheep to the slaughter and tell you how to vote. And I know you are not going to be popular if you stand on your own 2 feet. You're not going to be popular. You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be talked about like John calls and talks about my home. But I've never tried to tell anybody that I live in $1 million home. But I'll tell John, it's $1 million lady living in this home that is out there in the community helping people. I'm out there in the community cooking for the sick. I've even cut a yard for a sick family. I go into homes, clean homes for sick people, and I'm not on any, I'm not getting paid. I do it out of the goodness of my heart. So John from over there in Sheila's where she lives?
North McGregor.
That's what I'm trying to think of. You can talk about my home all you want to. And I'm going to tell you something, Michael. I looked out my window one day, and it was a black man across the street taking a picture of my home. I can't prove this in a court of law, but that was him. Because the next week, he called on the radio show, he said the same thing he said the other day about my home. But that doesn't bother me, not one bit, because I think for myself. The old rich white Republicans are not our problem. We are our problem. And we are still killing more of each other than any other group of people. Dope houses are still in our communities. Prostitutes are still walking our streets at will. And now we are out in this community. Oh, we are just celebrating because Glenn Beck is off the air. But I want to tell you, Glenn Beck will not be under the bridge. and you're celebrating because he's off the air. But he's going on with his life. And that's one thing we do. We spend too much time wanting to see somebody else fail when we could be doing something to elevate ourselves, to elevate our communities. It's not, and John, when you make fun, when I bought my home 40 years ago, it was not a ghetto. You couldn't find a horse trailer parked in the front yard when I bought this home. So you can laugh all you want, but you do not hurt me because I'm out here helping somebody. That's my life, Michael. Out here doing for somebody instead of, and I get so tired of this foolishness of blaming the old rich white Republicans for where we are. When I've been in ministry for years, white Republicans donate to me on a regular basis. And Sheila Jackson Lee came in and got in the pulpit and said that Newt Gingrich wanted to see school children starve, and we accepted that foolishness. But thousands of dollars of school supplies is right here at my home. You can come to my home and shop any day just like you in Fiesta. And it's not Democrats bringing it in here. So all of you ignorant blacks that want to sit and blame the old rich white Republicans, well, I want you to know that it is stuff you can just come in here and shop anytime you want to. It's just like you at Fiesta or Kohl's or somewhere. Brand new cases of uniforms, cases of school supplies, John. It comes to this house that you laugh at. So keep laughing, honey, because you cannot stop me. It's been tried for years and years. And, Michael, they have not been successful yet. And Michael, they always want to chastise you about talking about Sheila. But let me tell you something, Michael. If you were a fly on the wall on an early Saturday morning in a predominantly black beauty shop and a black barber shop, you would hear the same thing said about Sheila Jackson Lee that you're saying. But they want to get on your case because you're not black saying it. But I tell you one thing, you're telling the truth. And as long as you're telling the truth will stand. And you don't have to worry about the truth. Because you can wake up in the middle of the night, and if you have told the truth, you can repeat it again. But if you have told a lie, you'll change that lie. But the truth stands. So just let them keep calling and calling you a racist. Don't let that deter you not one iota of an inch, because it hadn't stopped me. And I've been on this kick, Michael, for years. And there are blacks that will talk to me on a regular basis. But do you think they would get on the radio and say what I say? And they would say things like, but Joyce, you know, you are telling the truth. But do you have to say it? Do you have to be so toxic? I said, I don't know any other way to say that. White folks, them old white rich Republicans are not our problem. We are our problem. And until we come face to face with that, we're not going to change. Because let me tell you something, a drunk will never get sober until he admits that he is a drunk. And it's the same way with us. We will never rise above where we are until we admit that we've got some problems. And it's not those old rich white Republicans either. And I stand on that, Michael. And it's a lot of times, Michael, that I stand by myself. But if I'm right, I don't need you or nobody else to stand with me. And I know that it's out there that you all are paying me, that I have a special line to get through. That old thing, that's been said for years and years. But none of that stuff deters Joyce. So use your time constructively and go on and try to help yourself, number one. And once you help yourself, then you'll help the community. And our community will not be the ghetto that it is today.
Joyce?
Yes.
I love it when you call the show.
Yes.
I just turn off my microphone and listen because you are so wise beyond your years.
And you know, that's always said to me. But you know what I say, Michael? I said it's just common sense.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's just common sense.
You know what? I'll tell you this, Joyce. To quote the words of George Orwell, in a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. We love you, Joyce. You're listening to The Michael Berry Show. Yes. The sage of Sunnyside. How much do I love me some Joyce? That woman is so wise. So incredibly wise and bold. People know who she is. She goes out in the community. They know what she calls up and says.